Hi everybody, it's Julie Weisenhorn. I'm going to do a quick video for you about tools because tools can be somewhat confusing initially. You should have gotten in your packet some 8 scale vellum, and just to be clear, each of these squares that you see here, the larger squares, equals 1 inch, and in this case when you're using this type of vellum, 1 inch equals 8 feet, hence the name 8 scale. And that means that each of the 8 little boxes inside the larger boxes equals 1 foot on your drawing. So it makes it really easy when it comes to measuring. Now, speaking about measuring, there are basically 2 kinds of scales. You got 1 kind of scale in your packet. This is called an engineering scale. And you can see that it says engineering on it here. It is not the scale that we're using. It's for larger projects. So like, you know, a square mile kind of thing. So we're not going to be using that. We're using an architect scale, and it says here on it, architect scale. And you'll see in the pictures that we are looking at primarily 1/8 over here on the side. And you can see that in the drawing, which means that each little mark here from 0 to this next mark to this next mark, each one of these is 1 foot on your drawing. And if you lie it down here, you'll see that it actually lines up with the little squares in your vellum. And don't be fooled by these larger numbers at the bottom. These actually correspond to 1/4 over here, the 4 scale, which goes this direction. So here we see 0. This would be 1 foot on a 4 scale, 2 feet on a 4 scale, 3 feet on a 4 scale, and finally 4 foot on a scale. On the 8 scale, we have 0. We have 1 foot on the 8 scale, 2 feet, 3 feet. Here's a little 4. So that's 4 feet on your drawing at 8 scale. So that's how you use it. It's actually a pretty slick tool. When it comes to using the template, you can easily lay your scale on the template circle that you're interested in to see just how big it is. So here we put the 0 on this nice line here. This is on the 8th scale using your architect scale. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's that little 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we know that on our drawing at 8 scale, this circle is equal to 10 feet. So that's great when you're looking for a plant that's 10 feet wide at mature size, which we'll talk about later in the class. And you need to find a circle to represent that on your drawing. So it makes it easy to lay your scale like this and measure the circles and find the one that fits the size you're looking for. Okay, so that's how you use that. Now, how do you use this vellum? So I'm going to give you an example. This is the Jones base plan. You all have this. It's on the Google site and it was sent to you in an email. And you can see that this is the property line. It's dashed around the edge. This is the curb. The double line is the curb. So this is where the street is out in this area. And this is a 1 to 8 scale. Now this is roughly that. We've made, depends how when you print it, it's going to be pretty close. But for our exercises, it's going to work out just great. Here you can see the walls are thick. These little openings are windows. This is a sliding door. And you'll notice these correspond with the information in the pictures about this plan as well. This is the garage door, by the way, front door, front window, and we have a blank slate to work with for the class exercises. Now, how do you do this? How do you use this? Well, when we are going to do a bubble diagram, which is one of your assignments coming up, you can take a piece of your tracing paper and you can lay it over this drawing. And I like to usually mark the corners here to correspond. Some people will tape down the base plan too. You can tape it to your tabletop. That makes it easy so it doesn't slip. And you can roughly draw in even the house. See, I'm just kind of sketching it in, nothing fancy. You can sketch it in like this. And that gives you kind of a rough idea when you take this off about what you're working with and how you can line it up. Then you can go ahead and try and start working on bubbles. So an example might be this is going to be a lawn. I'm going to write lawn in here. Maybe this is also a lawn. They wanted a vegetable garden, I believe. I'm going to put that back here because this is a Southern exposure, here's your north arrow pointing this way, so you know that way is south. There's your vegetable, maybe there's a deck back here, maybe a patio over here. Let's do a foundation planning right here, and so forth. So this would be the, don't forget the driveway. This is the driveway. But you can see the bubbles are nothing gorgeous, nothing artistic, just kind of rough ideas. What it helps you do is it helps you to visualize how this plan is going to look, how this yard and landscape is going to function. The nice part about the tracing paper is, let's say you kind of like what you've got here, but you want to take some of the good stuff and you want to put it onto another bubble diagram, because we always encourage doing multiple bubble diagrams. So now you can see, I can easily see through this, even though I have 2 sheets of vellum over this, or 2 sheets of tracing paper. Now let's say I said, well, this is, of course, got to have the driveway here. So there's my driveway. But I want to put the vegetable garden over here. And again, you should probably, you know, put your marks on the corners like I did too here. So let's say that you say, I want the vegetable garden over here. So now you can start to kind of recreate it. And then we'll put a lawn. Maybe the lawn goes like this. You can start experimenting with different kinds of bubbles, and that's how that works. So those are your tools that you'll have. Oh, the last thing is you'll have a mechanical pencil. I'm just using an artist pencil, but this is a cool eraser. This is called a click eraser. And if you push this, you can see the eraser comes sticking out the end. This is a nice little tool. It's really good for fine lines. You can get it in there. Pop mine out a little more. And so it works really well. It's a pretty cool little eraser. It does have crumbs on it, so you'll have to brush those away. But that is essentially how that works. And this is your packet of tools. So I hope that that is a helpful bit of information. This video is helpful to you. So thanks for being in the class, and happy drawing.